Hey, what is up, guys? Blunt Guts here. This is a Watcher Realms video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I really appreciate it. I want to do a quick video about this weekend's banners, but I need to do it in the context of next weekend's banners, if that makes sense. We've got a banger going on starting tomorrow on Friday. We are going to have Valkyra and Hatssut, two of the best heroes in the game, in my opinion, on a 15x rate up. They are they're just really good heroes, and especially if you are GVG focused like me, I do think that the two better GVG heroes are going to be on the banner tomorrow. That in my mind is the case, and so it's really going to come down to what you think you need on your account. So I'm going to go through the Awakenings because I think that these are heroes. Many of you already have both of these heroes on your account like I do. I actually have both of these heroes at A3. I'd love to have both of them at A5. I do think each one of these heroes has an A5 that is worth going for. But you're going to have to make the decision about whether or not you want to wait for next weekend's banners, where we're going to have Lord Phineas and Magda on the banners. We did find that out in the Thanksgiving event preview that Moonton did release last week. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is I made another video where I basically said that this weekend's banners were the best ones, and that this is what I would be going for, and this is the one that I would recommend that anybody who is GVG focused should go for. However, I have kind of like gone back and forth on that a couple of times since I made that video. So I am actually re-recording this right now because I did not want to put that out there, because I'm a little worried. Phineas looks amazing, and I can't really reveal much about him right now. What I will say is that he's going to do a ridiculous amount of damage. He has, I believe, the second highest base attack in the game at about 7,200, which is ridiculous. That's at a zero. Like, I think Ardea is the only hero in the game that does have more base attack than him. And structurally, he is similar to Ardea in some ways. And I think that here's the thing about Phineas. He is yet another single target damage dealer with a 1-tile range. Small asterisk to that is that he does, during his ultimate, get a 3-tile range. And so he's not going to be exactly like all these other single target damage dealers. I also think that he is going to be, I think he's going to be better than most of them at the end of the day. I haven't done full testing on it. I don't know that for sure, but based on his kit, based on the Awakenings, based on his base stats, I do think that he is going to be a force in different areas in the game. He is also an Infernal, which is not exactly the it faction right now. So I don't know, Again, I think that this weekend's banners are going to be better for GVG. What's not clear to me at this point is whether or not Phineas is going to be good enough that even if you are GVG focused, that you can't miss him next weekend. So with that said, let me get into the banners, and I'll give you some final thoughts afterwards. Let's take a look at both Valkyra and Hatssut's Awakenings. All right, let's talk about Valkyra's Awakenings here. So she has got +1 basic attack range on her A1, which is just massive. This is something that is really plays into the strengths of her kit, which is long-range AoE damage from a ground-based fighter. She also can hit air units during her ultimate, which is really key as well. So this is going to help out with that as well. More range for her means more time to damage units that are kind of approaching her, which is how you're going to be using her most of the time. So that extra attack range is really crucial, especially when you consider the fact that when she does use her ultimate, and if she is shielded, she is going to get another +1 attack range on it. So that 4 attack range becomes 5. You can see it really starts to pile up and really puts her in a spot where she can hit units that are just way far away from her. Really, really key. She is, I would say, not damage-wise, but similar in a way to Ardea, just in her attack range. And one of the things that makes Ardea so great, aside from the bonkers damage, is just her crazy attack range, something you don't typically see on fighters. And so Valkyra getting that extra attack range, just, I don't know how many times I can say getting that extra attack range, but I like it, if you can't tell. So on the A2, she is getting +5% attack. This is nice, but it's not as good as it could have been. Honestly, most of the time what you see is +300 attack here. However, in order for a 5% attack bonus to outweigh that 300 attack, the unit has to have over 6,000 base attack, and that is not the case here with Valkyra. She's a magic-based fighter, which typically means lower base attack. She actually, I think at a 0, has about 4,200. I think it probably goes up to about 4,400-ish when she does, maybe 4,450 or something like that when she does get this. It's not bad. It's going to get magnified based on how much attack bonus, substats, and main stats you do have on the gear that you do equip her with, but it could be better at the end of the day. The A3. Damage increase based on shield plus 50%. So if we open up this skill here, you can see increases damage by 50% for 30 seconds, consumes any shield the hero has at present, increasing attack range by 1. That's what I was talking about before. Attack speed by 100 and damage up to 100%. So it's going to become up to 150% when she does get this A3. That is massive as well. Her ultimate is really where it's at. That's what you want out of her, because that is when she can attack area units as well, especially for GVG. This is key, and doing more damage during that period is just really kind of sets her apart. A3 Valk is a very different hero than a 0 or even a 1 Valk, so I definitely do think that is a key awakening. Then on the A4, plus 5% crit rate, you might think this is not all that big. However, as many of us have developed more and more kind of high-end gear sets, we've got more pieces with high crit rolls on them. This could potentially allow you to drop a piece for a piece that has no crit rate on it, and bring in one of those badass pieces that has really great stats, but you can't often use because it doesn't have enough crit rate on it. This can really help you out. It opens up the builds, opens up your gearing options, so I do like that. And then finally, the A5. This was one which I believe was changed recently. When an ally is revived by miracle, both the ally and the hero gain a divine blessing of damage increase for 10 seconds. The damage increase is plus 100%. It used to be, I believe, just for the revived ally, but now she is getting that bonus as well. Plus 100% damage is huge, obviously. That is a big damage bonus. On top of that, if you think situationally in GVG, this is going to be active at a time when somebody just died, meaning you're taking heavy damage, meaning this is potentially like a recovery skill. It's going to allow you to clear out whatever attack is coming at you, or at least give you the opportunity to. It's going to increase your damage output at a time when you need it the most, so I really like this awakening, and that's part of the reason I want to get her to A5. Let's take a look at Hatssut. Oh, Hatssut, baby. One of my OGs. I think she was like the 4th or 5th legendary that I pulled. Honestly, this banner in particular, Valkyra was the first legendary that I did pull in this game ever. And at that time, people weren't a big fan of Valkyra. I liked her a lot from the get-go, but I like her even more now than I did then. But she was a great starter hero. Hatssut was what really kind of opened things up for me. She was a hard carry at the beginning of the game for me. She really helped me progress in this game. And she's not really my favorite anymore. Love her. Great hero. Definitely an S tier in my opinion, but I think Hex is kind of, as far as like non-ancient heroes, non-lord heroes, I think Hex is really my number one, but I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for little Hatssut here. And she's got some really good awakenings, honestly. I'd say the A1 and the A5 are the really big ones, but all of them are pretty solid across the board, especially in a GVG context. So let's go through them here quick now. So the A1 is plus 5% soul drain damage. Soul drain is the damage that happens when her basic attacks do bounce from one target to the next. So that is, it's pretty solid actually at the end of the day. It might not seem like all that much, but it's a pretty significant portion of her damage. So on the A1, plus 5% damage, very, very nice on that. The A2 is plus 300 attack. This kind of goes back to what I was saying about Valkyra. Hatssut has low base attack too. Almost all marksmen have lower base attack relative to like fighters and mages, but Hatssut at A0 has, I believe, about 3,700 attack. This is going to get her around 4,000, which is pretty significant. I mean, if you think about how I was saying that the 5% attack on Valkyra was not all that great because her base attack was low, this plus 300 attack is phenomenal on Hatssut because it is a greater portion of her attack. Plus 300 is going to be somewhere around like 8% of her attack. It's really, really big. It does help her out a lot, and just because her base attack is so low, it's more impactful to get that 300 attack. So I do love this one. I do think it's an important one. And then the A3, this is more of a utility one, but it is more important now with the introduction of the Garnet Guards than it ever was before. So Ghastly Stealth, duration plus 10 seconds. If you don't know, Ghastly Stealth is basically the ability that when she's deployed, she does gain invisibility for 40 seconds. It becomes 50 seconds when she does get this A3. Now, obviously, the Garnet Guards can't target her when she's invisible. So basically, it means that if somebody does want to deploy Garnet Guards in order to take out Hatssut, it means they have to wait until 50 seconds into the battle. Now, they are going to be, I think they actually already did, if I'm not mistaken, extend the amount of time in each GVG fight. But this is still going to be huge, because it's just another 10 seconds. Basically, it's a 25% increase to the amount of time that she is invisible, and that's pretty awesome. So very, very important awakening if you are going to be using her in GVG on your GVG defense. Definitely like that. And then let's see here, penetration plus 8%. Love the penetration. I feel dirty when I say it, but that doesn't change the fact that this is a great A4. Penetration, in my opinion, as far as endgame viability is concerned, is the best one. It's going to allow you to ignore a percentage, 8% in this case, of the enemy's defense and magic resist. In Hatssut's case, it's going to be defense because she does physical damage. So this is just super important, because the way that things scale in this game, the developers have gone down a path where, in order to make content more difficult, they raise the defensive value, defense, and magic resist values for the enemy units, and this allows you to ignore that. Basically, it's kind of like a cheat code to a certain degree. So 8% is not overpowered, but considering sometimes all you get is like +1 or +2 rage in your basic attack on it on the A4, this is really, really big, and I do love that one. And then we've got the A5. Ghastly Burst duration plus 1 second. Ghastly Burst is her ultimate, which is just one of the best ultimates in the entire game. It is crazy. It is typically a 4-second duration where she's just doing massive damage to up to 5 units all around her. I can put the skill up on the screen here. Deals damage to up to 5 enemies nearby, dealing 230% AoE damage every 0.3 seconds, lasting for 4 seconds. Adding an extra second onto that is basically going to give you another, 690% AoE damage. It's essentially giving you a 25% boost to the damage output from this skill, and that is just massive for one of the best ultimates in the game. Not a lot of units, GVG included, can stand up to a Hatssut ultimate in the face, especially when Hatssut has something like an Idra's Gaze, and then you add in the extra 8% penetration that she's going to get on the A4 if you've got her to A5. So just really just love these awakenings, and I love the hero. Really, really love the hero, and I want both of these heroes to be at A5. So you know what? I honestly don't know what the best thing to tell you is. I think you're going to have to kind of look at what your priorities are in your account. You're going to have to make that decision for yourself. I can tell you right now, there is no chance in hell that I'm not summoning tomorrow on these banners. I am gonna go and see if I can't get a little lucky. We're gonna see how close I can get to some of these units. If I get close to, if I can pull a copy of one or the other early on, I'm probably gonna keep going, because getting either one to A5 would be a significant boost to my account. Now, one thing I will say, Valkyra, as great as she is not as in vogue right now as a defender in GVG. That does diminish her value a little bit. I do personally use her at A3 as one of she's like my 4th highest BP affiliation for my demon soldiers. So even if she's not going to be used in my defenses, she's still going to be impactful that way, and she's still a really good hero elsewhere as well. I mean, both of these heroes, I'm talking about this from a GVG perspective, but both of these heroes are really useful in many different areas in the game. So you can't really go wrong here. The thing you have to kind of think about is, how concerned are you about missing out on Phineas? And I'm kind of in a situation where I'm likely going to be able to recover from that. I mean, because of my content creator rewards and whatnot, I am going to have I'll save something to summon on the Phineas banner. I'll have a decent shot of getting like just a copy of him, but I do think that banner is not going to be as good on the whole. Like Magda, I don't think comes close to either one of these heroes, as good as she is. As much as I like her, I don't think that she compares to either Hatssut or Valkyra in this game. You've got 2 really good heroes on raid up here. You got one okay hero and one kind of unknown in Phineas. We'll start seeing a lot of content on him next week on Monday, so I will be putting out some damage tests. Unfortunately, as you can see, the duration of this banner, it ends on Sunday, and we have been told as content creators that we're not allowed to post anything about Phineas until then. I've given you a little bit of info here. Hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble, but I do think that he is going to be really good, and I certainly want a copy of him on my account. So I don't know. I don't think that he's going to be great in GVG. He might be, but he's not in a great GVG faction, and his one-tile range when he's not using his ultimate is going to be a killer for him. He doesn't really have any defensive abilities. It's going to be hard for you to stack him behind a tank. And if he's not able to be stacked behind a tank, then it's just going to really limit his options for when he can be deployed, right? So I don't know that he's going to be great. But, I do think he's going to do a crazy amount of damage. You're going to have to make that decision for yourself. If you have any questions about what I've said, or if you have any input, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, what are you thinking based on what I've said here? Are you going this weekend? Are you going next weekend? Please sound off in the comments and let me know. I'd love to have some discussion. Maybe you can sway me. Maybe I should be waiting for Phineas. I don't know, but I've seen more than most, I would say, about him, and I think he's gonna be great. I just don't know that he's gonna be great in the areas that I care about as much. So anyway, guys, I really do appreciate you tuning in. Please do like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. I will catch you all next time.